Myself, Dr. P.K. Verma, all the students of biology and the teachers are most welcome in this biology class. In the previous two classes, I have discussed about the structure of flower, microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. Now it is the time to discuss what is pollination. So it is a very popular term that simply means transfer of pollen grains from the anther to stigma of a flower is called pollination. It is broadly classified into self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self means what? Pollination within the same plant, and cross-pollination between two different plants. Now, there are two types of self-pollination. One is autogamy and the other is geitonogamy. In case of autogamy, pollination is within the same flower, but in geitonogamy, pollination is between two flowers in same plants. In contrary, when pollination occurs between two plants of the same species, it is called geitonogamy. So the classification of pollination is not so much difficult, but it needs some minute details also. When flowers are bisexual or hermaphrodite, pollen grains can be transferred from mature anther to stigma of same flower. So it is autogamy. But here it is needed that both endoecium and gynoecium become mature together. Otherwise, autogamy will fail. It is very common in many members of Fabaceae family. Some members of family Apiaceae, Lamiaceae and Cactaceae. It is obligatory to cleistogamous flower. What is cleistogamous? The flower that does not bloom. For example, in the family Fabaceae or Papilionaceae, the flowers do not bloom. The endoecium and gynoecium are enclosed by two wings and a keel. So, it has no other way of fertilization. It has self-pollination as well as self-fertilization. When flowers are unisexual, but male and female both flowers are found in the same plant, this pollination is called geitonogamy. It is very common in family Cucurbitaceae. So, it is some sort of self-pollination and self-fertilization like effect, and in either case, whether the flower is unisexual or bisexual in the same plant, these are monoecious and self-pollinating. Now see this photograph. It is a Hibiscus rosa chinensis, that is the China rose. It has endoecium and gynoecium both. so self-pollination is quite possible. Now it is another photograph of a male flower of family Cucurbitaceae and another is the female flower. These male and female flowers are found in the same twig near to each other. So pollination between two flowers of same plant is possible, that is geitonogamy occurs in family Cucurbitaceae. Now cross pollination is the pollination between two plants. Such plants in which there is pollination between two different plant body, it is called genogamy. When the plant is unisexual, one plant is male, another is female, then cross pollination by genogamy is essential, it is obligatory. But sometimes a large number of plants are grown together. Pollen grains of the flowers of one plant comes to the style of stigma of flowers of another plant, and in that condition self and cross both types of pollination is possible. Now the cross pollination is considered more useful genetically because it increases genetic variations and therefore chance of betterment of characters. Cross pollination may be called when pollination occurs between two different species, but technically it is hybridization. Many related families of same genera can cross with each other, and sometimes two different genera of the same family also can interbreed. So these are hybridization. It is quite different phenomena and very commonly used for crop improvement. Now see the photograph of a papaya plant. Papaya has unisexual plants and sometimes bisexual plant also. In most cases, one plant is male and another is female. So you can see that a plant having very good, very beautiful white flowers but has no fruit is obviously a male plant, and those plants having a number of fruits are the female plants. This example of papaya is given in every book of botany, but you should look around yourself or go to the countryside and see the various plants. You will see the trees of Palmyra palm. In most of the palm tree, fruits are seen. Obviously, these are the female plants. But a few plants may be there that has no fruit. Its structure is different. In this photograph, you can see that there are only the stalks there and very minute white flowers grow on these stalks. After blooming within a day, they fall down. These are the male plants. So Palmyra palm is also unisexual. In addition, it is possible that in your local botanical garden there may be a plant that is unisexual, and Melandrium is best known plant with unisexuality. Now the question arises how the pollen grains from anther pass to the stigma of the female flower or the gynosium. So all those means by which pollen grains are transferred can be categorized as following: anemophily, pollination by wind; entomophily, pollination by insects; ornithophily, pollination by bird; zoophily, pollination by any animal other than insect and birds; and hydrophily, that is pollination by water. So come to study everyone. It is another chart showing that anemophily and hydrophily, air and water are the abiotic agents of pollination, whereas insects, birds, bat or the mollusca are the biotic agents. So entomophily is by insect, ornithophily by a bird, chiropterophily is by bat, and malcophily is by some garden slug or snails. Now come to anemophily. Most crop plants, wheat, rice, sorghum, maize, etc. are anemophilous. These plants are unique and different from most other plants. The flowers are apical, very small and unattractive. When I took the example of wheat, rice or maize, these are all monocots, they have perianth, and the flowers are not only minute but are colorless. Anthers are projected out of flower. Pollen grains are produced in very high number, large number, because many of them are wasted. Pollen grains are non-sticky and light in weight. Stigma projects out of flower and the surface of stigma is sticky or hairy. Here you should visit a field, see a wheat plant. You will find that 3 anthers project out and swing in the air. These are versatile. So air gets supply of pollen grains whenever the anthers dehisce, the pollen grains are released. On the upper surface of gynosium, it is monocarpellary. A style divides into 2 parts and the surface becomes hairy. But when you will see the maize plant, it has male and female inflorescence separate from each other. The male inflorescence is at apex, whereas the female inflorescence form the cob of maize. Long styles just like silky threads come out the cob and the stigma swings in air to catch the pollen grains. Now this photograph is that of wheat. Barley also has similar structure. The second photograph is that of a rice plant, and in the middle you can see the maize plant. The male inflorescence of maize is at the apex, and these cobs here, the 4 cobs are shown, but in your local field only 2 cobs are there, are the female inflorescence. Now the second case is entomophily, that is pollination by insects. In this case, flowers or the bunch of flowers are colorful and attractive. In case if flowers are minute and non-attractive, the bract or special leaves at the apex become colorful. The flowers have nectaries, that is the gland to store nectar, so that the insect can come to feed upon nectar. Pollen grains are sticky or with hooks on the surface, so that these grains can stick to the surface of body of the insects. Stigma has broad and sticky surface. Flowers have some petals larger so that insect can easily sit on them. In the flowers blooming in night, the color is white, but they have very attractive smell, such as night jasmine. See this photograph. Which plant it is? The first photograph is that of Ixora, and the second is bougainvillea. In bougainvillea, it is very common plant. These colorful structures are the bracts, and small white yellowish flowers are seen among the bract. Ixora also has beautiful, colorful upper leaves. Like Ixora, in poinsettia also, the apical leaves are very colorful. This is the photograph of poinsettia. In poinsettia, inflorescence have a special structure. It is Poinsettia pulcherrima. It has cyathium inflorescence, and these yellow structures are the nectaries on the outer surface of inflorescence. So these conditions invite the insects to come to the flower and pollinate. It is seen that in many cases the structure of flower and the structure of insect shows the co-evolution of them. For example, in banyan, there is a special inflorescence and a special insects that can enter into the inflorescence. The fruit-like structures present on the banyan and fig trees are in fact their inflorescence. Now this is a special mechanism found in salvia, It is called lever mechanism. When an insect sits on the surface of the lower petals of the flower, in the inner side there is a lever. When the lever is pushed by insect's head, the anther or the style bends and touches the back side of the insect. So in one flower, the anther transfers pollen grain to the insect's back, and in another flower, style takes the pollen grains from the body surface of insect. This is another class of Aristolochia. It has a basal chamber in which the female part gynosium is not developed, underdeveloped, but the endosia are well developed. When an insect enters into it, it is trapped inside because the downwardly directed hairs do not allow them to come out. These insects carry the pollen grains from the anther. They move around inside the basal chamber. After a day, the gynosium becomes mature, and then the mature gynosium takes pollen grain from the body of insect. When pollination occurs, very soon these bristles degenerate and the upper part also degenerate, so the insect can come out of the flower. It is very interesting flower. Now see this photograph. It is Calotropis procera, locally known as Ak or Akvan in Hindi. It is also offered to Lord Shiva in this month of Shravan to please them. In this Calotropis flower, bunch of pollen grains, about 100 grains, form this hanger-like structure known as pollinium. This pollinium has a disc, retinaculum, and the pollinium containing about 100 pollen grains. So this structure, pollinium or hanger-like structure, can hang on the legs, on the bristles of insect, and in this way it is carried from one flower to another flower. Now come to ornithophilia. The sunbird and hummingbird are very minute bird, very small bird, only 2 to 4 inches long. They have pointed and long beaks. While flying, they suck the nectar and eat upon the pollen grains of flowers. So they can transfer pollen grains of one flower to another flower. Now pollination by water is possible only in case of submerged aquatic plants such as Hydrilla and Spirodela. In these cases, the female flowers have very long stalk and the flower touches the surface of water. But the male flowers are inside water. When the pollen grains are released, they float on the surface. To prevent these pollen grains from soaking the water and become heavier, the surface is coated with oily or waxy material. However, the emergent plants and free-floating plants have either anemophily or entomophily. Such transfer of pollen grains is not an objective, but it leads to fertilization of gametes, and therefore in the next session I shall discuss the process of fertilization in the flowering plants. Thank you very much.